then not been given the opportunity. That makes a bit of a mockery of it, a little bit.
This is Jonathan Aggie, your fifth pro boxing fans, joined by Joe Gallagher. Joe, how was your new year?
Yeah, it was okay. Yeah, quiet, nothing else much done, but yeah, it was a good New Year. A nil Christmas. Everyone seems to have had that bug that was flying around, but a good New Year, and looking forward to 2024 now.
You've got a lot of big fights coming up, so I assume you were in the gym on Christmas Day. Am I right in saying that?
Joe, I was, and we were planned, but I was just rotten ill. I was just in bed all over Christmas. Come back from Saudi Christmas Eve. It was just, I was really ill. So I think a lot of them were happy about
Well, let's start with Tasha Jonas. This fight with Mikaela Mayer next Saturday is creeping around quickly.
that.
Uh,
Yeah.
Another former world champion for Tasha to face. What do you think these last few years have shown about her as a fighter, as a person, always taking on the very best?
Yeah, I think Natasha, the journey that she's been on, the speed bumps that she's had early on in her career, her goal was always to become a world champion. And at the third attempt at trying, she did it. I thought that would be it then, but then after that, then no, it was she wants this belt, she wants that belt. Done that, then obviously she got the Fighter of the Year award by the British Boxing Board of Control. So thought that's it, drop the mic and retire. And no, she wanted to be a two-weight. So she's done that now, and obviously the fire in her belly still burns bright. And fights like Mikaela Mayer and other fighters that are about are still inspiring her to be in the gym, and she wants to carry on her resume.
How much do you rate Michaela as a fighter, Joe?
No, she's very good. She's a good fighter, an Olympian, done very well, marketed well, good fighter, um, can have a scrap and can also box on the outside as well. I think I was just saying to someone else before, I think this fight is a fight for boxing fans and purists. You've got two really skilled women in, but two women who have really took to the professional game. If you look at Mikaela Mayer, her background, her coach, where she comes from, she's learning a lot of old school pro tricks. And Natasha Jonas, every time you walk into the gymnasium, everyone comments on her sparring. She's always sparring 3 minute rounds. The way that she moves around the ring, the shot selection. It's a shame this fight wasn't a 3 minute bout, because I think it would have been a fantastic advert for women's boxing to operate over 3 minutes when you've got two ladies who have a skill set like these two have.
You mentioned about Tasha calling it a day, and she's still got that fire in her belly to continue. Uh, you know, how do you think when she does eventually hang up the gloves, she should be remembered, and how would you like her to be remembered?
Natasha, it's in the, she doesn't have to say anything. It's in the history books what she's done. She's been a brilliant ambassador for British boxing, being the first lady to qualify for the Olympics, represent Britain at the Olympics, being involved in that tremendous fight with Katie Taylor in the 2012 Olympics, and also having the attitude, the female rocky attitude. No matter how many times you get knocked down, you get back up and you go again. And we've seen that after I lost to Terry Harper, I lost to Katie Taylor. She didn't give up and she carried on. And I think, yeah, Natasha Jonas, there'll be nothing but good spoken about her and what she did for female boxing.
And where does the winner go from here, in your opinion?
For Natasha, I like the pipe and slippers. I keep saying that. I don't know. We'll see. I think Tasha still has one or two more still on her X-ray. Mikaela. I think she's early 30s. She has time to rebuild and come again.
And you've also got Jack Massey out next week. Uh,
Yeah.
what's the future with him? He's obviously faced Joseph Parker. Good test for him. Where do you see the future with him?
Well, Jack's coming down to back down to cruiserweight for this fight. Cruiserweight division's really hot in up here on the world scene and also in UK boxing. And Jack wants to get a monster. He'll be nearly a year out of the ring by the time he fights, I think. Obviously against that fight with Joe Parker. And Jack's performance is standing the test of time very well, looking at what Joe Parker just went and did with Deontay Wilder. So it's his first fight with Jack, so we're having a fight on that show, and then hopefully we get amongst the mix and get a fight with Beterbiev-Smith. That's a fight that I know Jack's after. I think they've got history. I think they fought an ABA final together. The two likable kids. They've both become fathers recently, and I think it's a good domestic fight.
Now, I think I speak for a lot of people that were pleased to see Callum Johnson back in the ring recently. Just talk to me about because I haven't had a chance to speak to him since he made the comeback. Sort of what motivated him, and do you think he can be a player in the division? I believe he's moved up now to cruiserweight. So yeah,
He fought cruiserweight. Listen, when you punch as hard as Callum Johnson, like they say, the punch never leaves you. And like I say, he fought just before Christmas at cruiserweight. He did it. He went through the doors because in the past he had a couple of fights lined up and then pulled out a week before on the week. And this time he's come back and he wants to do it for him. Last time he was doing it for his dad and other people, his kids and on whatever. Well, I just think there's a sense of realization. Your boxing career can be over very quickly. And when he did decide to retire, he felt to himself, no, I've still got something left to live. And you're a long time retired. So he's been in the gym. He's had a win now. We've got him ranked. We'll have him out again in February. And we'll see what the world stage looks like then.
I remember speaking to you a few years ago about potential fights with Joe Smith, Anthony Yard. I know obviously now he's moved up, but are those fights that could happen maybe at a catch weight eventually?
Well, I think Joe Smith's moved up to cruiserweight now, and Gilberto Ramirez, has he moved up to cruiserweight now or
I
light
think he has,
heavyweight?
yeah. I
Yeah,
think he
he
has.
has. So the fighters that have moved up to cruiserweight are fighters that were in the original division. I'm not sure. I think there was a rumour the other week Anthony Yard going up to cruiserweight, but we'll have to see. But like you say, it's an exciting division, the cruiserweight now, and when you have someone who punches as hard as Callum Johnson, it's just a welcome division.
Mm. Joe, I wanted to just get your opinion on Joshua and Ngannou, which was announced. What do you think of that fight?
It's I don't know. There's boxing, isn't there? There's a boxing fight game, and there's a boxing business, and this is just about pure business, isn't it? Tyson for Anthony Joshua to say that he wouldn't fight him or wouldn't entertain him. I generally thought Anthony Joshua after his fought against Otto Wallin, being a southpaw, he'd fight Zhang Chang. I thought that was a good fight. Chang coming off a great win over Joe Joyce. And I thought that was the fight to make. If not that, then Joshua versus Herkovic for a chance to become a three-time world champion and then bring a strap to the table with a fight with Tyson or Usyk. But yeah, Ngannou, I think he surprised everybody when he did Tyson Fury, but we all know Tyson Fury didn't treat it like he did do. I'm not trying to discredit Francis Ngannou in any way. He had done his homework, he had prepared, kept things under wraps very well, and came in that night and gave a good account of himself. He wasn't somebody that we all sat and laughed at that when you see when they take to somebody like you see on the Mishits or the Misfit shows. Do you understand? He had serious players, he had serious people around him, coaches around him, and he applied himself very well. Tyson Fury, I don't know whether he thought it was going to be one of them Rocky Hulk Hogan things. It's just a bit of a move around type of thing. But Francis Ngannou wasn't there to make up the numbers that night. So him and AJ, I think it's mad. Ngannou's come out of anywhere, and here he is now in his second fight, fighting two former two world champions. Obviously Tyson Fury in that. I feel sorry for fighters in the division who are working hard to get opportunities to get into positions to fight a Fury, a Usyk, Anthony Joshua, that they're not being given the opportunity. That makes a bit of a mockery of it a little bit. I know the WBC give them a ranking of 10 or 15. You fancy Ngannou then to go and fight a Cabal or somebody like that to move on, or Bicola. But to get to the AJ gig remains to be seen. Anthony Joshua and Eddie Hearn, they're fully confident that they think they've got to go in and beat Francis Ngannou quite easily. I think Francis Ngannou, and this is an interesting point with two of them, if he lands on Anthony Joshua, he stays hit. When you hit Tyson Fury, yeah, he does get hit, he does go down, but he gets back up. Anthony Joshua, when he gets hit, he stays hit. There's a touch of, no disrespect to Frank, but it was a touch of that you're like, oh, when he gets hit, Francis Ngannou, mostly has the belief now that if I can land on Tyson Fury, a bigger, taller, a bit more nimbler heavyweight, then I surely can against Anthony Joshua. And if he lands, then it's curtains. But that's what I think is the draw of this fight, is if Francis Ngannou lands, and not so much the case of Anthony Joshua and how well he beats him. I think everyone's thinking, wow, if he lands the right hand like he did on Tyson Fury, what happens then? Does everything go up in smoke?
Hmm. I mean, I saw yesterday Francis Ngannou is going to earn reportedly eight figures for this fight. Joshua probably something similar, or if not more. I mean, Carl Froch labelled it a cash grab. I mean, how much is if that is relevant? Do you see it that way, or do you see,
Well,
potential?
it is a cash grab, and that's what I just said there. I feel sorry for some of the heavyweights that are building up and trying to get their opportunities. You look at Martin Mikaela, who has served his time in boxing, setting up a GoFundMe page, I think it was the other week. And then you've got Ngannou being given, as you say, them figures to on a performance against Tyson Fury. You've got Cabale, Daniel Dubois. Would have been a good fight with Anthony Joshua. Chang had a good win against Parker. All fighters that have gone through an amateur cycle, Chang and Dubois and all of them, and they're looking for them big paydays. So you feel a little bit sorry for them fighters, but I wouldn't say the crowd were calling for a Joshua and Ngannou fight. I think a Joshua Chang fight would just have as much appeal and attraction to it as what that would. But yeah, I feel sorry for the fighters. But this is what it is at the moment.
And just closing up, Joe, obviously Saturday night in Quebec, your former fighter Callum Smith attempts to
Yeah.
dethrone Artur Beterbiev. What chance do you give him, Joe?
I'll give Callum as good a chance as anyone else against Artur Beterbiev. Having Callum Johnson come close to having him down, and then that's just they're the fine lines and the margins in boxing. Callum Johnson could have been a world champion that night and gone on. Just that hesitancy, that delay in going in and finishing him in the way that he did with Frank Buglione, but just standing in awe that has really happened. Callum Smith, there's lots of talk of the big punching. Callum Smith, I think, has had 6 rounds in the last 2 years. Beterbiev hasn't fought since Anthony Yard. I do feel the fight being rescheduled is best for both. It's allowed Callum Smith's body to develop and fill out in at a 175. Beterbiev to get rid of any niggles or injuries, so there's no excuses from any side. Beterbiev's best shot is a right hand over the top. People say Callum Smith's catch left hook is one of his best shots. I always feel his straight right hand is a potent weapon and one of his best punches, as well as his left hook to the body. Is an age a factor? I wouldn't say so. I'm not buying into that at all. It was only a year ago, like I say, he had that tough fight with Anthony Yarden come through. Cam Smith's going to have to bite down on his gum shield in this fight. If Beterbiev lands, and I'm sure Callum Johnson will react. I think also as well, Callum Smith lands. I think Beterbiev will react. Beterbiev throws his shots and his non-punching hand is always slow, as we've seen when Callum Johnson landed it. I do feel the body shots are key in this fight, and I think it's the speed of Callum Smith in which he shows his shots. I think this, for me, this is a fight. Callum Smith has to get his respect early on, and I think this is a fight that doesn't go past 6, 7 rounds, to be honest.
And Joe, just finishing up, obviously saw you out for Fury against Ngannou. I was having a look at your Instagram earlier. Post you put out with a load of sort of legends of the sport: Riddick Bowe, Sugar Ray Leonard, Duran. Who would you say was the most inspirational person maybe you met that week or had a conversation with?
Um, Larry Holmes was one. Grew up watching Larry Holmes, one of the all-time heavyweights. And believe it or not, Buster Douglas. I've seen him there. It isn't often people get to see Buster Douglas, but I just wanted to go and shake the hand of the man that shook up the world I remember watching the fight with my sister. She was crying because Mike Tyson got beat. But James Buster Douglas, believe it or not, as well as obviously there was Eminem and the original Ronaldo as them
Yeah.
as well. But in boxing sense, it was more. I've seen most of the other one before, but I think it was Larry Holmes and Buster Douglas, to be honest, mate. Yeah, they're two fighters. I don't think you get the everyday opportunity of meeting them, especially James Buster Douglas. So yeah, him, mate.
Brilliant. Joe, best of luck next week in Liverpool. Big fight for Natasha Jonas, and we'll speak to you soon. Thank you.
Cheers. All right, mate. No problem. Thanks for
Cheers.
having me on. Cheers.